Judgment has been reserved in the case against President Cyril Ramaphosa, Sibanye-Stillwater and government. 329 miners are blaming them for actively inciting violence and exerting pressure, which led to the Marikana massacre in August 2012. They are demanding compensation of 1 billion rand. eNCA senior journalist Aviwe Mtila has that story for us.
Who caused the pain, suffering and trauma to miners, both dead and alive, as the police mowed down miners in Marikana, was at the spotlight in court today. Now, Lonman, which is now Sibanye-Stillwater, says fingers shouldn't be pointed at it.
The plaintiffs were shot at with live or other ammunition by members of the South African Police Service. And at 16.2 were assaulted by members of the police service. Those are two claims. We say it's a category of harm. It's about assaults perpetrated against the plaintiffs by members of the police service. The next category is the allegation that the plaintiffs were unlawfully arrested by members of the police service. The third category is that the plaintiffs were maliciously prosecuted by the National Director of Public Prosecutions.
Advocate Dalim Pofu, representing the miners, says Lonman was in fact part of the toxic collusion of principal perpetrators.
First defendant participated, masterminded and championed the toxic collusion between Lonman, that is second defendant, and the South African Police Services, which resulted in the death, injuries, unlawful arrest and detention of Lonman employees, including the plaintiffs. And Ms. Hofmeyer comes to this court and says it is not suggested, there's nowhere where it is said how the linkage between Lonman and the arrests. How can that be so, my lord, when it's here in black and white?
The president's name came up once more as it was argued that he exerted his political influence in the recharacterization of the strike action.
Ms. Shabangu in the first hand says, no, he's not a criminal. This is what we call a strike action. It's labor. Police must not be involved. And Mr. Ramaphosa says the following: do not worry, I will persuade her to change her characterization of the situation from a labor matter to a criminal conduct. These are now the statements that he makes. And he says the following, my lord. He says, I will go to Cape Town, I will talk to her there so that I can persuade her to change her characterization. And he does. And after he does so, he comes back, he reports to Roger. He says, finally, she has agreed to change her characterization of dispute.
Judgment has been reserved to a date that's yet to be announced. Aviwe Mtila, Johannesburg.